Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast, presented by Engles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. And happy Rivalry Week to all who celebrate, which is all of us, I assume. We had the pleasure of talking with Georgia Tech head coach Brent today. Eric McLean had to handle it solo. I was calling a game when we were able to record it on Sunday, but Mac and Coach Key, honestly, it's good when it's just those two bald-headed offensive linemen. They can just chat and they have a good vibe. So excited to get to our interview with Brent Key, and he talks a lot about this massive matchup with number 10 Georgia in Athens on Friday, 7:30 p.m. kick on ABC. It seems this early spread of Georgia minus 20, I don't see it. That seems like a lot of points. As I said on Monday's episode, I think you roll with Aaron Philo, but I'm not a head coach. I don't know what's going on, but that's what I think. So we'll get into this conversation with head coach Brent Key. Reminder, use our code GMPOD on Rowback, 20% off. Get your Christmas shopping going. Get your Black Friday. They have an early Black Friday sale going on. And also code GMPOD on Underdog Fantasy if you want to get in on the action and the easiest place to play fantasy sports. We're going to get to a message from our great friends over at Engles, and then to head coach Brent Key, let's talk Yellow Jackets.
Did you know that Engles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about that game because, I think it was interesting, just going into it. What is this team going to look like? The last time we saw them and the great output, you've got the Miami game where you guys just look like superheroes. And it was a very interesting way that you did it with multiple quarterbacks on the field. Doesn't look like, Haynes can throw, and then he throws, and then he runs it, and then you put the young freshman in. And then it looked like for this game, the plan was pretty set. Like Haynes is going to be the hammer. Philo's going to come in, and we'll see what he can do, and what he can handle. And I have to imagine you were pretty pleased with it, throwing the football, and then of course the walk-off run. But just big picture on the game, what did you see from that position, specifically?
Yeah, look, we knew that little trick wasn't going to last long. That of being able to flip them in and out of there the way he did. And credit to Buster, being able to call the game that way, because that's not an easy thing to do. Matter of fact, now Haynes is 100% completion right now over the last two games. So he was 7-7 against Miami, 3 for 3 versus NC State. So he's on a tear. But no, we knew going in that NC State was going to play low safety, zero looks, stick looks. Basically goal line defense, short yardage goal line defense for that matter. And the nature of how they play defense, it's hard to move the ball when those extra safeties are fitting those C gaps. Mm-hmm. And we knew it was going to be tough. We were, going to be happy with 2 and 3 yards and hope we'd be able to get some, pop for a little bit bigger. Only had 1 or 2, I think, until the last play of the game that was able to do that. And that was a scramble. So, they did a nice job of really closing everything down and forcing us to take the shots, which we had them. We had the shots. We had everything ready to roll. A few things with Haynes, it could have got some of the layoffs, a little bit, some of the quick layoffs on some of the flats and whatnot, and some of the little RPO quick things. But and then we had Philo being able to come in and throw the football, but also, he's a very capable runner. And I think that's what people underestimated about him was the fact he can run, he can move with his feet and use his feet to not just avoid a rush, but to actually get yardage. So, we knew we wanted to shorten the game, keep the ball in our possession. And that was going to be hard with the way they played defense. So we were able to do it, mixed in different ways. Not, obviously, some of the play, some of the parts of the game weren't the way we wanted to play, but there was some resiliency too to our team, and I thought that they never quit, and they kept believing the whole time.
Yeah, and I think that's just the impressive part, right? Like college football is hard, winning is hard, and then when you throw in, having to rely on a true freshman and saying, hey, go be the guy. Can you walk me through that final drive, which I know the way it ended with the I don't even know how long it was, maybe 20 yards, the 20-yard, touchdown run or something of that nature. Just what was your mindset going into it, and then how you eventually got to where you did?
Yeah, so previous to that, they had the ball. They're driving. They get to about midfield, and our players on defense, they were headsy in that regard to look, if we didn't get an immediate stop at the line of scrimmage, like at that point in the game, I mean, there was a minute 40, minute 45 left in the game, and they still had their timeouts. So
Right.
we were down on the timeouts, and they were headsy enough. Once the running back broke the line of scrimmage, they peeled off and they let him score.
Right.
And there's a clip, you can see me on the sideline as he's running down the field. I'm going, go, go, go. It looks like I'm actually cheering, but I mean, it's part of the game. That's part of the game. And, you get down into the 10, 15-yard line, people are going to put, roadblocks up and whatnot, or muscle, all those things, and, take a knee. But when it happens that far out, it's just kind of human nature of a football player to go score.
Right.
They scored. We were able to get the ball back, and, able to, we had a minute 30 left on the clock. So, well, I knew for one thing they weren't going to be playing the same defense. They were going to have to be play off. They played some three double cloud. We thought we were anticipating. We hit a couple of plays, and then they played some 2-man. And right away, Aaron recognized the 2-man and took off, and realized they had nobody for him. And once they let the line games kind of play themselves out, he avoided and looked, and they had everybody matched up, and he took off a couple times, and the last one, the 22-yard run, it was go, 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 go.
Right.
At that point, you're like, I don't really want to risk taking going down right here, but we'll play the odds. And then I think a big part of the game too was the squib kick took another 8 seconds off the clock.
Right.
Right before that. And so all in all, it was it's a game of inches, and it came down to a game of inches then on a windy night. So 58 yards away. So.
Crazy. And it was just, I mean, it was so impressive. Just number one, the circumstances again, that I keep talking about this kid because it's just crazy to look at, but how he did it. And, you mentioned the 2-man where, he's got to see that, because a lot of guys can panic and they're sitting back there seeing there's nothing, open, and they panic and they throw it to the other team. And instead he saw that and he took off, and he had like back-to-back 18-yard runs, or maybe there was something else in between there. But just his recognition of that so quickly. I mean, did it shock you at all? Has he been that way throughout his time at Georgia Tech? Did you have to whisper in his ear? Like, how did that come about? Because that's a tough skill to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't set the records he did in high school and break records of certain quarterbacks that have played here in the state of Georgia and gone on to play at other colleges that are in our conference. I won't say. Trevor's name.
I know who you're talking about.
You don't break all of Trevor Lawrence's records here in the state of Georgia without having some real savvy to you and understanding of the game, and that's what Aaron is. I mean, just the way he moves in the pocket. He's got great feet. Great anticipation. Throws a great ball. Has confidence in his throws. To put him where the other people aren't. There was one early in the game he kind of sailed up, and we're like, whoa. And it was just kind of one of those bucket throws, and just enough. So we've seen it, we've known it, but at the same time, for a freshman to do that, it's one thing routes on air. It's one thing when you're in a simulated scrimmage, when you got a green jersey on and nobody can touch you. When the live bullets are flying now, it's different, and he's now proven that he's capable of doing that.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But before we move on to kind of this week and looking at, Rivalry Week, one of my favorite times of the year. I mean, it's impactful ball. It matters for your rivalry, for my rivalry, and looking where both these programs are, specifically. Before we get there, I want to focus big picture on this team and, man, some accomplishments that you guys were able to check off just after this game, which this one's still huge in front of you, and there's postseason, which is great and very exciting. But to go undefeated at home and to protect that place, I believe I saw for the first time since '99 to have back-to-back, winning seasons, for the first time in a handful of years. what does that say about this team? And then maybe even take it another step further. What does that say about where y'all are going right now?
Yeah, people always ask me, like, are you guys where you thought you would be at this point in time? And I've never put a quantitative mark and saying, hey, after 1 year here, 2 years here, 3 years here.
Mm-hmm.
We've never done that. I just believe that I truly believe in working your absolute butts off every single day to be the best version that you can be. And what happens, happens. And I think the kids do that, whether it be playing each play one play at a time, regardless of the scoreboard, regardless of the environment that you're in, the way they prepare during the week. I mean, even weeks where we hadn't executed well, Saturdays, the kids have really prepared well and they've practiced well. That's something we saw in this group, and then that's a credit to the locker room. That's a credit to the 22 seniors that we have. The legacy they're going to leave to the underclassmen that'll be coming back. It says a lot. It's exciting. I had no clue that going undefeated at home's happened twice since like 1969.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy, but
yeah.
It's hard to win. It's hard to win in college football, and the ACC is such a league of parity. I mean, just across the board, anybody can win any game on any given day,
right.
And to have that at home, and look, we're nothing. We're the outcasts. We're the rejects. People want to come and play in our little old rusty stadium, and hey, you come here, it's going to be a tough one.
That's right. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. Well, I think that you've seen, some of that momentum already, just with recruiting and some of the guys that you guys are locking up, and the class that is, really coming together. How just, man, for you, I guess specifically, I know you've been a head coach in this era, and this is your first head coaching job, but you've coached forever and you've been a part of it. And you've been a recruiter and a great recruiter. How are you guys, able to capitalize so well right now as you are, maybe even specifically keeping these guys home and saying, hey, we can accomplish goals right here, right now at this place?
This is a great state. I mean, this is a great state for high school talent, for high school football coaches. We've got some former high school coaches on staff from the state of Georgia that are really impactful in the relationships we've built. But we made a commitment to recruit the state of Georgia. And then the neighboring states, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and then go nationally for, kind of spot hit. But we wanted to make a presence here. I think it's 19 or 20 of our commits are from the state of Georgia. And, it was about keeping the other schools from taking guys away. Look, there's plenty of players here, but who are the right players for Georgia Tech? Who are the right players for our systems and schemes? And they're going to fit here. But then, there's a lot of good players that go away, and you got to have relationships. And look, everybody flies into Hartsfield and recruits Atlanta, right? And we're going to recruit Atlanta, but not everybody drives down to South Georgia and goes to the small counties down there, or goes up to North Georgia. That's where you make your hay. That's where you've got to have the relationships, and you've got to be in the know. We'll look back 10 years from now, and there'll be 10, 15 kids out of the state of Georgia in this signing class that will go and play in the National Football League that no one's ever heard of right now.
Sure.
And it's just the way it's always been. So you got to trust your own evaluation. You can't get caught up in what other people think a guy's like. You can't get caught up in rankings and stars and all those things. And you have to trust your evaluation of guys, right? And the evaluation to me it's never ending. It might start as a sophomore in high school, and it goes all the way through. I mean, even if someone's committed, we're still constantly evaluating, right? Until they're here, you're constantly evaluating them.
Right.
It doesn't ever stop. And you got to have a staff that trusts and believes in that, a staff that's not afraid to work, to build relationships, to build relationships with the recruits, the high school coaches, the people around them. And then you got to recruit them. Everybody talks about this as a transactional age. Well, I think that's, there's truth to it, but you don't get to a transaction without a relationship.
That's right. That's right.
And the transactional part of it. I mean, look, I didn't coach. I wasn't a head coach 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Right. So this is the way I know it. Right. And that's a good thing. And I enjoy it. I love it. I believe players should be, compensated for their name, image, and likeness. I mean, there's a lot of money made out there, and these guys bust their tails. And I'm a proponent for that.
Yeah, I am too. And it's going to be interesting just to see, where does it continue to go next year? With the rev share stuff, where does that eventually land, and how much more resources, is each of these teams going to actually have, and how much more just solidified to things like that come. It's going to be fascinating. All right,
It really
let's talk
is.
this week. It will be. And, who knows? Hopefully it happens sooner than later, because I think, putting y'all behind the 8 ball and not getting you this information until May would be a shame. And maybe that's what happens. And I know you'll be ready, and I'm sure you have contingency plans, but you also need to know, right? You need to know what are the rules that we're playing by.
Sorry, speaking of recruiting. Yeah, you do. You have to know the rules. You have to know. You have to be on the same page and have alignment with your administration and your the upper level administration of your school and the president. And that's been the great thing here, is that there's complete and total alignment from President Cabrera to our athletic director Jay Batt and administration down to the athletic teams.
Yeah, and it's fun to see. And we've been there plenty of times, and I see that in person. I know that it's a big deal. Let's transition a little bit here, because it is hate week and it is rivalry week, and you've played in this thing, and that's what's really different about you. And actually, I guess Kirby as well, having played in himself. But there's a handful of coaches in this league that have played for their respective schools that are coaching in these games this week. How about just for you personally, man? Is it? I don't know. Do you have to calm yourself down? Because I just couldn't imagine myself in this situation in my rivalry and how much I hate those guys. And then having to coach and execute a football game level-headed as you can.
Yeah. I think it's why you get it out of yourself during the week. You don't want to become emotional. I mean, you've seen me on the sideline. I'm for 95% of the time, I'm very calm on the sideline. Calm breeds calm. You ask your coaches you ask your players not to become emotional. And yeah, you see head coaches become that way. So, I mean, to me, you can't do that. You can't ask your players to do one thing and then you be a totally separate way. So, look, I mean, it's very well known what my feelings are towards the other school. But I can't go without saying, like, they are a tremendous football team, right? What Kirby has built there is outstanding. I mean, he has done a phenomenal job, as good as probably almost anybody in the last 30 years, 40 years of college football. So mad respect. We've known each other since we were in college, playing against each other. And I think it's pretty cool that both schools in state have former players that are at the head of the table, and it adds for a little bit more excitement to it. But the respect I have for them, for the coaching staff there, the respect I have for the job that they have done and the job that they do, doesn't change my feeling towards that color. So
right.
You see, there's no red in the building now. So
no, man, there better not be. There better not be.
But no, that's what makes college football great. This is the week that makes college football great, because this is not just an in-state rival, Georgia versus Georgia Tech. This is not it's not me versus Kirby. I mean, look, this has got so many levels to it. This is for the ACC. This is our conference, all right? Yeah. And we have a lot of them this week. And look, there's respect all around, but like this is a week that we have to step up as a conference, as a league. We need to step up and attack these games like they are different games. All right, they are. There is a certain other level of importance to these things, and that could be lasting for years and years to come.
Right. Yeah, there's no question. The momentum that you can grab, the bragging rights, but also just the momentum for the league and for your team specifically, it's a really big deal. What do you want to see from your team? Obviously, I know we all want to win and we want to dominate and do our thing, but just throughout the game, throughout Friday night, which is probably a little strange in itself, but Friday Night Lights, what do you want to see from your guys when they run out there and that ball is snapped?
Yeah, I don't care about the scoreboard, right? The outcome of the game is totally independent upon anything we ask of our guys, right? We don't look at the scoreboard. I mean, we don't talk about it. As head coach, you have to plan and how many possessions are left and scores and those things and how you're going to play the game. But Uh, you know, we have to have a great week of preparation. All right. If we have a great week of preparation, that will, it's like every game. That'll give you a chance. If you don't prepare well, you probably don't have a chance on Saturday or Friday in this case.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then, so you have to take that and have that in your back pocket when you go in. And then you got to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. We have to play complementary football. We have to play well in all three phases. We have to have a great plan, not just an offense, defense, special teams plan. We have to have a great plan overall of how we're going to play the game. Right. Then you've got to play with the toughness, the discipline out there, but the confidence to go out and execute. I think that's the important thing. Believing in something comes from having confidence in it. It doesn't necessarily come from previous execution of it. It comes from the confidence, and our guys are confident. They're confident. I'm not saying we're confident we're going to go win a game. No, our guys they're confident in themselves and their abilities. I've never asked one player or one coach to ever do anything outside of their body. Like never, hey, you got to play out of your mind this week. You got to play over your head. That's not possible. It's humanly impossible to do that, Eric. You know that. Like I can't stand when people say that, because usually what happens, they get all warped up and jacked up and they play like crap.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
But you can maximize your potential, and most people don't even come close to being at 100%, of what their potential is. There's a 30 to 40% gap in there on a good day for most people. The great ones, they probably make it to 90%. The Jordans, the Kobes, the Tiger Woods, the Jeters. I'm showing my age right now, right? So, those are the guys that can get it to 90%, 95%, right?
Right.
Well, that starts early in the week. It starts with the understanding of that. All right, what are we going to do? We have to be extreme in something. We need to be extreme this week. And extreme isn't crazy off the wall. Extreme is being the greatest you can be. Extreme is the difference in a Navy SEAL who's one of the greatest warriors in the world, and then SEAL Team 6. An Army Ranger, and then 101st Airborne.
Yeah.
There's the great ones. And then there's the great ones within the great ones.
Right.
All right. And this is an analogy that I use, is there's, a Navy SEAL or a Ranger who's going to take 50 shots every day with his sniper rifle from 100 yards. All right. Then there's SEAL Team 6 or, JSOC or Delta Force. They're going to take 200 shots from 250 yards and hit dead bullseye every time. And after 150, if they don't hit it, they're going to start back over at 1.
Right.
That's extreme. Yeah. That's extreme to me, and that's what we have to be.
Yeah, no doubt. Turn that green light on. One fun one before I get you out of here, because it is Thanksgiving week. What's the plate look like? And I know Friday, game, maybe that changes it up a little bit for you, but what are you throwing on your plate on Turkey Day?
So we'll be in the hotel. We'll head to the hotel earlier on Thursday. We'll practice here in the morning, go to the hotel. We'll have the normal Friday night dinner there, but then we'll have a side line of turkey and
there we go.
Turkey dressing of Thanksgiving things. But my go-to is turkey and dressing, cranberry sauce on top. And I don't like the homemade cranberry sauce really. I like it out of the can.
Okay.
So you can slice it and put it right on top, and then I put the gravy on top of that. All right.
Come on.
Love a couple casseroles. Broccoli casserole, sweet potato casserole. I'm not a mashed potatoes guy. That's just a filler. I don't eat bread. That's a filler. Yeah, I want the good stuff. Something. The casseroles are a big thing. Mac and cheese. That's not a filler. That's mac and cheese.
That's right.
So between the mac and cheese, a couple of casseroles, a little bit of hot sauce on top. On top of the cranberry sauce is always a little bit of hot sauce. And then desserts.
Which one? All of them? Don't discriminate?
I love chocolate pecan pie.
Okay. I just asked somebody about this yesterday, and they never had it, and I felt bad for them. It's good. It's fantastic.
Stupid good.
That's why you and I look like this and do what we do.
No question. I love the chocolate pecan pie. I'll do a pumpkin pie.
Sure.
A little. I don't just crave it all the time. But
right.
Now the chocolate,
You got me
just the chocolate with pecans.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff, like I said, sweet potato I like sweet potatoes on Thanksgiving. I don't do the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I like green bean casserole or broccoli casserole. I don't like just
Hmm.
regular green
Hmm.
beans. I'll do uh, collards or turnips.
That's
Big
killer.
collard green, turnip
I
green
can't wait.
fan. As long as I got enough, cooked in enough fat back. So,
That's right. You make it happen. Anyway,
what
I
about you?
can't
What
wait.
about you,
That
man?
sounds delicious.
What's your go-to?
I'm all of the above. I'm right there with you with the turkey, the stuffing. My grandma used to make the best green bean casserole, so I'm right there with you. I'm a big sweet potato pie guy, though. I don't do the pumpkin pie. I do sweet potato pie, and then
Really?
the chocolate pecans is the way to go. I mean, I
So
couldn't
you're a
believe someone
stuffing
said they
guy.
had never had it, which is crazy.
You're a stuffing guy, not a dressing guy.
It's weird. Like, who goes? Which family do you go to? Do they make it? Which way do they do it? And it's different but similar enough. I don't. It doesn't. I don't. I'm not bothered by whichever one's available.
Yeah, my in-laws, my wife's parents, they're both from upstate New York, and
Yeah.
they were big stuffing people. I'm
Right.
like, look, it's hard to stuff it when you stick it in a fryer or a
Exactly.
smoker.
Exactly.
Now, I did a couple years ago. I think it was during COVID. Was it COVID? I don't know what year it was, but it might have been COVID because it was all weird schedules or whatnot. I did I smoked one, smoked
Oh,
turkey, and
yes.
I put everything that we were making the casseroles out of, all the
Hmm.
veggies, the dress, everything. I shoved it all in the turkey.
Did you? Oh, I bet that was killer.
Just cooked it all in there. Then
Right.
got done with that. Dude, you got to come to the house, man.
We'll do it.
I love doing some cooking. I love grilling
Come
and
on.
cooking, man.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it
So,
happen. This spring, we're going to make it big.
sure, for sure, for sure.
Well, you're the best, man. I appreciate your time. I know it's a crazy week, holiday and big game, but we're excited to see you. Good luck Friday night, and can't wait to talk to you again soon.
I appreciate it, man. Anything for the league. I think me and you were both passionate about this league and the quality of football in the league. And the cool thing about the ACC, when you watch it across the board now, you're seeing. We know the quarterback play, right? We know that there's great quarterbacks. There's great skill. But what I've seen this year is a difference. I see a growth in the line of scrimmage.
Right.
I see teams that are really leaning on the guys up front, both sides of the ball. That's a big emphasis and push that we have made and are making and consistent and constantly will.
Right.
But you see more teams play in the game at the line of scrimmage, and even the ones that aren't having as much success as others, right? You see them leaning that way. So that means it's
Right.
only going to get better and better.
Exactly.
Every week you play play a game in our league right now. There's somebody on that other side of the ball across from you on the D line that's pretty dang good now.
Yeah, no doubt. There absolutely is. And you got to be ready each and every week. But like I said, always appreciate you, Coach. Thank you, brother.
Man, always appreciate you, Eric.
Thanks again to Coach Key for joining us. Cannot wait for this massive matchup between Georgia Tech and Georgia in Athens. Georgia Tech, I think, has had a solid year, a year really going to take themselves to the next level next season. Obviously, Coach Key is the guy for that job. And hey, you could shock the world and do something crazy with this game against Georgia on Friday. But please, guys, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trying to get to that 10K mark if we can. That would be amazing. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Listen on SiriusXM. We're on channel 84 as well as 371. We're just all over the place. So check us out if you can. Subscribe on YouTube. That would mean the world to us. Happy Rivalry Week. Happy Thanksgiving week. And we'll see you next time.